legendary chair anchor and exchange on Souq News. The beautiful season is here again.
I smell Christmas.
Ta-da! It's Christmas.
Christmas is a holiday where we celebrate the birth of Christ. It is a super celebration where we share love and many cheers.
Christmas, a time to make merry and show love.
Spend time. Go out there and spend time with your family and friends and loved ones. I mean, you don't get to every time.
Get to see the family.
She's so excited.
I can't wait to have my plate of rice and chicken.
I'm Adesiwa Iramasele. I'm a presenter and anchor right here on Souq News.
I am Osama Zaida Hosa, Femi Watch Limited owner of Souq News and Watch Radio. Wishing you a very wonderful Christmas. Christmas represents the incarnation of God, becoming man and showing us the greatest of love. It's a season to love one another. Show love to your brother out there and let the love move around.
Christmas. And lots of activity like jamboree, reunion, and the likes are already on top gear. In all of this, we would like to know what Christmas is to you, so come along as we gather diverse opinion on Christmas.
My name is Ekemezia Nwakonobi. End of the year, holidays. And in some communities, in fact, in most communities, especially in the East, they use the period to organize a whole lot of things. Like, for instance, in my own community, we have Ofala Festival.
My name is Oluwatosin Akinyelure.
Motayo Rachel.
Okay. Christmas is the celebration of Christ and is always celebrated on the 25th of every year.
My Christmas is the celebration of Christ.
Well, I'm staying indoor. I don't want stress because it's always traffic. On the 25th it's always rowdy and noisy, so I don't want to. So I would prefer to stay indoor.
I'll be going out with my family.
Queen Darlene.
Rita.
Okay, Christmas for me is one of those seasons that we share love. We tell people about the good news of the birth of Christ. We have fun with family and friends. It's usually more of a retreat for us, family, friends, age grades, get together, do a lot of things, and then we celebrate and thank God for the year that we've already concluded, and then we set up new goals for the next year.
Be with them, have fun. For me, I miss my family.
My name is Kash Ohio Audu. As for me, it's celebration period. You know,
It's another beautiful day and a special day indeed. Today is Boxing Day. Oh my, what a good day. I'm so excited to have you join us on today's edition of Early Exchange. It's a special one, not the regular one, because today is special because you are also special to us. You know, I hope you're enjoying your holiday, your Christmas holiday. You know, today is Boxing Day, an opportunity for us to remember our loved ones, to share gifts, you know, that special person to you, that special bosses, is a time to distribute that. And you can be rest assured that when it comes to Early Exchange, we have the best of package for you. It's going to be a 3-hour drive. You know, we hope that as you spend the next 3 hours with us, will make your holiday worthwhile, will make your Boxing Day worthwhile. I am Femi Ayodele. Now let's go on a short break now. When we return, we'll dovetail into news analysis to look at stories that are trending during this festive period. Stay with us.
am Blessing Aiche, anchor and exchange on Souq News. The beautiful season is here again.
I smell Christmas.
Ta-da! It's Christmas.
Christmas is a holiday where we celebrate the birth of Christ. It is a super celebration where we share love and many cheers.
Christmas, a time to make merry and show love.
Spend time. Go out there and spend time with your family and friends and loved ones. I mean, you don't get to do that.
I can't wait to have my plate of rice and chicken.
I'm Adesua Iramasele. I'm a presenter and anchor right here on Souq News.
I am Osama Zaida Hosa, Femi Watch Limited owner of Souq News and Watch Radio. Wishing you a very wonderful Christmas. Christmas represents the incarnation of God, becoming man and showing us the greatest of love. It's a season to love one another. Show love to a brother out there and let the love move around.
My name is Olatunji Shoti Miri. I'm a performing artist and, television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Souq News. If you're not watching Souq News, I pity you, but keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timmy Dakolo, and you're watching Souq News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Souq News. Guys, keep watching Souq News for everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news. Souq News is your station.
Good morning and welcome to Early Exchange with Blessing Aiche, Femi Ayodele, Sam Oruoje, and Idahosa Osamanze.
It's a national orientation agency. It's, as far as I'm concerned, very ideal and unprofessional.
If government says that subsidy is not in oil and government is not supposed to be paying subsidy in oil,
energy or whatever kind of oil-grid solution we will be looking at.
Today we are conducting mining today. Solid minerals, as an example, is, in no disrespect to anybody, is abysmal. We definitely need improvements in those areas. Of course, there are infrastructural needs.
This is Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
It's all about shaping policy and advancing development, and so we always get set to that. But now it's time for news analysis for us to review the major headlines trending around this period. You know, it's Christmas holidays, Boxing Day. We're going to look at stories related to the season, and I'm not alone. As usual, I have the wise man in the house, Dr. Idahosa Osamanze. Happy Boxing Day.
Time to buzz. I am ready. Let the ring set.
I hope you are not getting ready with your fists.
Yeah,
You know, I remember when I was very young, I had that mindset. Boxing Day is all about
let's exchange bosses.
But now I know better. I know better. Glad to have you join us.
My pleasure to be here as always.
And let me let you know, I have a special box for you.
Oh my God! Maybe I can't wait to unwrap that box now.
Maybe you get it after the show.
Thank you.
Let's get into this story. This interesting story from the DSS calling on operators of recreational and worship centers to be vigilant during this Yuletide season. You always have this form of practice from the security agencies when it comes to festive period to issue security alert to people to be wary of, where they go and to be very careful. So this kind of alert is coming from DSS to recreational centers, the owners of those centers. Around this period, people will be crowded around those places to have fun, families, friends, to gather with family and friends to have fun. And also worship centers, because it's Christmas time, it's Boxing Day, a lot of activities will be going on. People will be going to various religious centers to celebrate. And so the DSS is giving up this kind of alert for people to be wary of where they go and how they move around, Talk to us. What do you think will be the impact of this kind of alert from the DSS?
I think it's just natural for people to understand the psychology around terrorism and this modern warfare that the world is engaged with, this asymmetrical war with terrorist groups. The psychology of terrorists to create fear and destabilization. And so what usually happens is that they look for that opportunity where they can have a critical mass of people gathered together and just drop something there, and then fear is heightened. And because once there's panic, you find that even the security operatives loses guard. So it's just a terror tactic, which of course has been used over and over. And so it is just natural for us to be security conscious. Watch out even in our neighborhoods as we go out, as we are in regular settings, and be sure of people who come around. You see, because they just sneak into the person and somebody can blow himself up or drop a bomb, and then of course the whole thing explodes. You create a fear in that settings. And so once that tension and fear is in that place, it affects business, it affects even livelihood. So people will become intentionally afraid. And that's what the terrorists have been doing over time. So they use the ambush technology. So I think what the DSS is doing is just to point people's attention to these are real. Because they don't know who a terrorist is. They don't write it on their forehead. They are not carrying any special thing or kit that will make you to be able to identify them. It just could be ordinary human beings. And you know today, ILD people can just hold in their hands or put it in a wallet. So people should be very conscious. It's not to say we should lock ourselves in. It's just that we have to be conscious of the environment where we find ourselves and see whether people are dropping something and ensure that we be each brother's keeper. Because like they say, security is everybody's business.
You know, there's this idea when you see something, say something.
Yes.
That's just the idea. And I also think it's important because around this period, a lot of activities are going on. And so those people today are aware. So they might want to take advantage of this period to cause some chaos. But I also have this feeling that if DSS is coming up with this kind of public statement, will it also not aggravate some panic, you know, in the public space, where I suppose that the DSS activities should be more of in the secret, you know, do their diplomatic movement without even making any form of announcement.
Yeah, I think it's very important. Information is very key in any setting. What the DSS is doing is not raising alarm. They are not preempting anything. It's just alerting us to be aware of the psychology of terrorists. Because this is where they want to shine. The point they want to make is to say that your security architecture has failed. So you can imagine, for example, if they gain entrance into the city of Lagos, central city of Lagos, with just one idea exploding, you would think that the whole of Boko Haram has come into Lagos. So that creates a lot of panic. And that helped them to come in. So what the DSS is doing is just giving us information that as we are celebrating, we should also put our eye on the ground and to see who is moving around, what people are doing, such that there be no security breach around worship center, event center, and people can come in. And while we are having fun, we must also be security conscious. That's why even in the Bible they say watch and pray.
So even while you are praying, your eyes...
Please let your eyes be
open. All right, let's get to the next story, which talks about the FSDH Merchant Bank signs $20 million facility agreement with AFDB to empower businesses in Nigeria. You agree with me that when it comes to, for businesses in Nigeria, when it comes to the issue of financing is a challenge, whether for small businesses, you know, medium one, or the big players, you know, it's always a challenge. And now this merchant bank has signed a kind of facility agreement with AFDB to empower businesses in Nigeria, $20 million. What do you think will be the impact of that on businesses if that becomes a reality?
I think it's just huge. African Development Bank focusing on small and medium-scale enterprises, seeing how to empower them to do business. And of course, they are bringing this cash, and of course, it's going to be wired through FSDH. Now, of course, this is a bank that is distributing this fund to people who have business idea or people who already have some businesses that they are running, and you put this money here, and $20 million is some money, and that can empower a whole lot of people. Just even assume that everybody gets $1 million to do business. About 20 people will be empowered. And you can imagine that those 20 people are having to employ 10 people. That's about 200 people taken out of poverty, taken out of the unemployment market. So for me, it's a huge deal, and we are so grateful that the African Development Bank has so much confidence in the Nigerian economy, and no thanks to the fact that he's a Nigerian himself, and so doing everything to see how he leaves the footprint on the sand of time in our economy. And I think it's a very welcome development. We need more of these kind of interventions so that, of course, the teeming youth in Nigeria are empowered to do business, to become self-motivated and driven, to become employers of labor, and this will go a long way in enhancing social cohesion within society.
All right, let's talk about currency this time around. Let's go to the financial market. The next story is about crypto, cryptocurrencies, the lifting of the ban on cryptocurrencies. You're aware that in February 2021, the CBN issued a circular about the regulation of crypto and then placing some ban, because somehow, by and large, cryptocurrency, it's a market where you can't just regulate, and that's been a challenge for CBN, where you don't even know, as a country, you don't have control over it. It's a global market, so there's no country that can that have control over it. But with the recent circular being issued, is to see how they can regulate it, to make it regularized in a way that it becomes of standard. And so the CBN is asking the stakeholders to disregard his earlier circular he issued in February 2021 about the issue of crypto, and it seems to be lifting the ban on crypto now. Perhaps in coming days, it's going to be something that will officially recognize, in Nigeria. Talk to us, the crypto market. What's your take on it?
Well, the crypto market is technology-driven. We're talking about the blockchain technology here, that is using a decentralized distributed ledger to house information such a way that once an information is produced, it remains as authentic. It cannot be manipulated or changed by one individual, as it were. And that is what everybody is leveraging on. So it's a new technology, and that technology is already driving governments, whether in Nigeria, Asia, or America. So we cannot run away from it. Yeah, but the initial fear that people had is the fact that, of course, because you don't have control over it, it can be abused. Of course, definitely those issues are there. The volatility of the market, the security issues, all these issue concerns are there. Because you have the market today, it jump up, tomorrow it jump down. People, you see, government is saying, oh, how do we protect people's investment and assets? This is really concern for world government. But the way it is as of today, it is difficult really for anybody to isolate himself from any emerging technology, especially when it is globally appealing, and which is what crypto has done. A lot of governments across the globe had adopted blockchain technology, which of course was initially designed for Bitcoin. And so we're already using it in the area of health, we're using it in the area of agriculture, and so many areas, supply chain management. So even finance management cannot be excluded. So it's just a matter of time for us to realize that, look, we are here in a globalized world. You cannot be isolated. So whatever technology that is driving somebody elsewhere, you can't even control it. Even if you legislate against it, you don't even see where it is. So it's when you have a house structure that you can say, okay, government will come and seal it up. So even with the bank, people are still be operating it. Because they don't need your central bank, they don't need your commercial bank to be able to do these things. So these things are done on the internet. So it's just foolhardy for somebody to have said that you have stopped something that you have no control over. So, but I think what government has done is just to make things be the way they should be. Let there be a lot of freedom in the environment for people to play around. Business is risk, investment is risk, people lose, people win. Whatever it is, government only can issue warnings to people and let people understand what the risks are, what are the disadvantages, and what advantages are. So human beings, of course, we know that they are wise, and anytime they want to take decision, they have to be very considerate. So if you weigh the options and it suits you well, then of course no government can gag you. But I know a lot of people who in the last 3 years have moved all their wealth into crypto because it's looking even safer than the challenges of the volatility that is challenging the world, as it were. So when you look at this complexity, we can only become adaptive and agile as a people. I think that's what CBN is trying to do here.
All right. You know, I'm hoping to see how they intend to regulate, like you said, because it's a global market.
No, you can't regulate it. There's regulation is almost zero regulation.
Exactly.
Because there's no, because they don't even know what it is. But you see, because it's peer-to-peer review, what that means is that once that system is set up and you are part of it and added to the block, automatically you become a player in the, a significant player at that. So there's no information change within that chain that can happen without your approval. So it is only the people who are playing in there that have control. So if you are not playing there, you cannot control it. So for you to control it, then you must have been a player in there. And you don't have a say because it's completely democratic to some extent, because every single player or block in that chain has the same equal amount of power to determine what change happened within that chain. And so to that extent, it's self-regulating.
All right. Interesting. Let's go to this next story, which is exactly what I experienced yesterday. Yesterday being Christmas Day. You know, cash scarcity leaves travelers stranded, ATMs, banking halls run dry. This issue of cash scarcity, you know, around this period, because there's more demand for cash, people need to spend, people need to shop for things. So when you get to ATM points, you hardly get cashes. I mean, you hardly get cash, and then you discover that, you know, it's becoming a recurring problem every year when you have festive periods or you're approaching festive period. Like the experience I had yesterday, you know, yesterday was Christmas, so I needed to get, you know, some notes, you know, for my family and do some stuff. And I went to almost 5 ATMs. I couldn't get any. And so it's become a practice. Why do you think is a trend, and how can this be managed around this period? Maybe more cashless transaction could also be of an option.
You know, I'm really still very much troubled. I was saying to my wife yesterday, and I don't know why people are so much concerned about cash.
But this season, people will actually need to move
what do we
around.
need cash for? The truth of the matter is that everybody sell cash, and then you go and queue in the bank to deposit the same money.
But not in all transactions.
No, but nobody really holds cash.
If, for instance, if you need to get to Balogun Market, you might not likely use your card.
You see, this is the issue.
There are instances where you still need them.
You know, this is where we're talking about technology adoption. I was in Kigali that day, and I needed to take what we call Okada here, a motorbike, to drop me off somewhere to beat traffic. And he said to me, do you have a Momo wallet? And I asked, what is Momo wallet? And he said, so that you can transfer via a USD to me. And I said, really?
Interesting.
So I don't need a cash. All I need is to create my Momo wallet.
But we don't have that here.
Yeah, but this is what I'm talking about. And this is what CBN should emphasize. Take, for example, in the whole of Uganda, everybody has adopted technology. Anywhere you go to, whatever thing you want to buy, it's just a USD code. You don't need internet. You don't need credit on your phone. So, you don't even need a smartphone to do it. So, what if I want to enter into a vehicle going to Opalende? All I just need to do, I don't need to use card. I see the USD code, I send it, and it shows you that this money has been moved from one wallet to another wallet, and there is no query there. We're already used to these things happening. Hardly now for me, if I take a public transport, Uber or InDrive or whatever, you don't need to have cash. Drivers are accepting transfer. I was shocked about 2 years ago. I went to Unyibo market to buy some certain things. And I saw a book. I said, I want to buy them, but I don't have cash. And he said, do transfer. I've even seen people who are on the traffic selling things and say, I don't have. They say, we accept transfer. So we should get used to technology. Because the whole idea is that nobody really wants to carry cash. Everybody wants to travel light. And that was why I actually was not too happy with the last governor of CBN, with the Naira redesign. My issue was not the problem of the redesign of the Naira. My issue was the fact that the CBN still went ahead and printed high denominations of 500, 1,000. If I were the CBN governor, what I will advocate today is that eradication of 200 Naira notes, 500 Naira notes, and 1,000 Naira notes. If they are going to be there, they can just put it on the archive. Let there be only 100 Naira notes, 50 Naira bills, and 20 Naira bill. All that is enough. So, there will be no need. Nobody will go to an ATM machine. I want to go and collect 100,000 Naira using 20 Naira note bill. So if the CBN is really interested in driving a cashless economy, the starting point should be the withdrawing of higher denomination notes. I was in Morocco the other day and I was asking, I want to change some dollars, and they were counting the money, they were becoming so many, and I said, no, I don't need this money. Don't you have a higher bid? They say this is the highest denomination, 200 Moroccan dirham. That's the highest. So these are the things that we need to learn that is working in other places. I have not seen in my eyes since I was born anything 200 American dollar or 500 American dollar or 1,000 American dollar. The maximum you see in euro is 200 euro, 100 euro, 50 euro, 10 euro. And I think this is the line we should toe and discourage the use of high denomination, which is a motivation to hold cash. And therefore, the policy on cashless can become very successful.
All right. So we don't have so much time, but let's wrap up with this story on the Indian economy. India has emerged as a star performer and is projected to contribute more than 16% of the global growth as per IMF. You know, the India economy is booming and globally is making impact, is making effect on the global GDP, you know, and IMF has to make reference to this. But what is so peculiar about the India economy?
Well, Modi has done so well in India, whether we accept it or not. He has tried to drive that process. And you see, what Modi has done in India is, the hygiene around the business and the politics of India. I keep saying this on this studio. One of the things that India did right was the National Identification Scheme. That over 1.3 billion Indians, over a period of 8 years, spending $1 billion were registered. And so Indian government was able to know those who were extremely very poor and those who were well off. And they were able to identify about 300 million Indians who were actually very poor. Because what the big people in India were doing was actually hanging all argument around poverty for government subsidies. So electricity was subsidized, water was subsidized in the name of the poor. But really, this was not getting to the poor people. Because anytime a government implements subsidy, what you are doing is that you're actually lining up the pocket of the already rich at the expense of the very poor. So Indian government was able to look at those who were very poor. So with the national identification, they were open to open bank accounts for all very poor Indians. And government said, well, we have to take away subsidy. And we know that this is going to have effect on the very poor. And what government is going to do is that this increase, we are going to pay it directly to the account of these very poor Indians, so that they can buy whatever thing they want to buy, whether it's electricity, whether it is water, whether it is health, whether it is school, they can afford it. So Modi directly credits the poor.
Interesting.
And was not servicing the very rich in the name of subsidy. So the subsidy was hitting the right target. And as subsidy is hitting the right target, what's happening to the economy? It's booming. The poor is empowered to buy. They have credit now, and they can afford whatever thing they want to buy. This is where India had made a huge success. And this is a model I am recommending for the Bola Ahmed Tinubu regime. If there's anything that needs to be done, the number one priority is, first of all, to know who is a Nigerian, where he lives, what he does. Now, once we are able to successfully register and identify Nigeria, we will solve security problem, economic problem will be solved, then government policy can become real targeted. And the mutual suspicion which exists when government is starting a program will not be there, because the data will be there to speak for itself.
Yes, sir. All right. What a way to wrap up our news analysis. And interestingly, the president used this word. He would say, let the poor breathe.
We will try and breathe.
All right. I must thank you for your time, Dr. Idahosa Samanzi, for always coming through and then always being of good help when it comes to the issue of analysis. So happy Boxing Day to you once again.
Let me start to go and unwrap my bosses.
Yes, so you have a lot of them. Please go ahead. All right, we'll go on a short break. When we return, we'll have a major discussion for today, which is to talk about the essence of Boxing Day, the essence of gifting, why the gift. And our special guest will be here shortly after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Blessing Aiche, anchor and exchange on Souq News. The beautiful season is here again.
I smell Christmas.
Ta-da! It's Christmas. Christmas is a holiday where we celebrate the birth of Christ. It is a super celebration where we share love and many cheers.
Christmas, a time to make merry and show love.
Spend time. Go out there and spend time with your family and friends and loved ones. I mean, you don't get to do that.
here to get to see the family. She's so excited. I can't wait to have my plate of rice and chicken.
I'm Adesiwa Iremosele. I'm a presenter and anchor right here on Souq News.
I am Osama Zaida Hosa, Femi Watch Limited owner of Souq News and Watch Radio. Wishing you a very wonderful Christmas. Christmas represents the incarnation of God, becoming man and showing us the greatest of love. It's a season to love one another. Show love to your brother out there and let the love move around.
Let us also give thanks for Jesus, because Jesus is the reason for this whole season. It's also the reason why we have hope that as we journey into the new year, it will not be in vain and that things will get better.
This Christmas, I'm joining this unit in wishing Nigerians wherever they are, saying to them, Merry Christmas.
The church is wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, a happy and prosperous New Year.
I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance.
I wish everybody in Nigeria Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. God bless Nigeria. God bless everybody.
Have a good Christmas. Have a Merry Christmas. I wish you all the best.
My greetings go first to the President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his wife, Senator Remi Tinubu. As we celebrate Christmas, I want to greet the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Oba of Lagos and his traditional chiefs, the Catholic Bishop of Lagos, Dr. Adewale Martins, and all Nigerians. I wish you all a very happy Christmas. Eko ni baje o, eku odun, eku yedun.
Good morning and welcome to Early Exchange with Blessing H.A., Femi Ayodele, Sam Oruoje, and Idahosa Osamanze.
It's a national orientation agency. It's, as far as I'm concerned, very idle and unprofessional.
If government says that subsidy is not in oil and government is not supposed to be paying subsidy in oil,
energy or whatever kind of off-grid solution we will be looking at.
Today we are conducting mining today. Solid minerals, as an example, is, in no disrespect to anybody, is abysmal. We definitely need improvements in those areas. Of course, there are infrastructural needs.
This is Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
All right, it's still Boxing Day special. Don't forget, this is your program. This implies that you can be part of the conversation. All you just have to do is to go on our social media platform, on our YouTube page to share your view. What's your own idea of gifting when it comes to a special day like this? And what do you have in mind when it comes to giving gifts to your loved one? What kind of gifts would you like to give to your loved ones? Just share your concepts so that at least your voice can be heard on this program. We want to look at the essence of giving. Why giving, and then why is it necessary around the spirit? What kind of gifts can you give to your loved ones? To help us shed light on this, we have a special guest who is joining us virtually. We have Stephanie Kaduri, Steph Red. She is a life coach. She joins us virtually. Steph, glad you have joined us on Early Exchange this morning.
Thank you very much, Femi. Good morning. How are you?
Good. Glad to be your host this morning. You look radiant.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So let's start with this idea of gifting on a special day like this. You know, we're at a season where the issue of gifting, you know, offering gifts to loved ones is usually a practice. Let's start with you giving us an understanding of the essence of giving, you know, the essence of offering gifts to loved ones. What will be the impact of this and how significant is it going to be on a day like this?
So first of all, where we need to also go back to the reason why we give gifts. of which I believe is to align with the purpose for the season, which is Jesus, the reason for the season, being a gift to humanity. So the idea is that it was a gift, his birth was a gift to humanity. So aligning with that would now be to give gifts to people, just the way he gave the gift of his birth was given to the earth. And then there were wise men who also came to give him gifts. And then from there, okay, what's the reason for the season? It says Jesus the reason for the season. So if he was a gift to humanity, let's also gift each other something that will be significant, that is from the heart, that yes, that is heartfelt. So that is, I believe that is the purpose for why you have gifts being given to each other. And it's also signifies a deep sense of love. You love someone, that is why you give them that kind of gift, the kind of that would ultimately either determine their joy, their peace, or their levels of gratitude. So giving gifts is really, I mean, the Bible says, permit me to use that, it's one of the wisest books, rather the wisest book in my opinion, that the gift of a man makes room for him. So it's possible that, so not just your gift as your talent, but when you give gifts, you know, gifts can actually open doors. Some doors you've been knocking on it for so long and then doesn't open, and hey, you bring a gift, sometimes that door would open. So part of the things we do in this season is just to give gifts to men, gifts to family members and friends, to just make them have that sense of, oh, feeling loved. And at the end of the day, we establish connections, we reinforce commitment to people, we make them recognize the value that we have for them, the positions that they feel in our hearts or in our minds, yes, and all of that. So eventually it works for us, or it solidifies a relationship we already have, or a friendship or a partnership that we already have. So it's great to give gifts, and it doesn't have to be anything excessively expensive. It just really has to be heartfelt. The most important thing is that it is heartfelt.
Talking about the idea of gifting, won't it also reinforce this, mindset of people who have that it's important on a day like this for them to get or have gifts? This is what you call this kind of mindset where people have, yes, they are entitlement mentality. Yes, that's what I've been looking for. Will it not also not reinforce that, whereby people feel, yes, on a day like this, they're entitled to it, and it becomes a rat race where people who don't even have are not feeling convenient or comfortable with the fact that they are not having gifts? How do we reinforce this kind of belief to ensure that it won't defeat the essence of giving?
I think this is a good time for me to also ask the question, what have we carefully, how well do we carefully even recognize what a gift is? And coming back to the center, breath is a gift. Having a family is a gift. Having clothing is a gift. Having a roof over your head is a gift. And it doesn't necessarily have to be something new if we can't afford it, which is where contentment and peace comes in. So before we even start to want to feel entitled to receive a gift from someone, we want to ask ourselves, has there been an emotional investment or relationship capital, relationship investment that will make that person consider to want to buy you a unique gift? And does it have to be a unique gift? Can it even be a gift of friendship? Can it be a gift of appreciation? Because it doesn't have to be tangible. And before we begin to want to think we're entitled to a gift from someone, we want to ask whether the way we want to position ourselves in that person's mind is the way the person positions us. And recognize that even if the person doesn't come through with that, what can we be grateful for? Because it all comes back to contentment, being content, being grateful for what you have and for where you are, regardless of what you don't have. Because the animosity and the frustration and the bitterness towards someone else defeats the purpose of the season, which is a season of love, of gratitude, of family. And even if you don't have a particular gift, which sometimes we think is food or something packed, which can be consumed and passed out. But then there's a gift of, I stumbled on something, I think it was on social media, when it said, just in case this season your children are crying that, Mommy, you didn't give us a gift. Okay, get a wrapping paper, wrap the house, put a ribbon. That is a gift. You have the gift of shelter. Bring out all their clothes, wrap it up, put a ribbon. That's a gift of clothing. Oh, the food you're about to eat, just when you serve it on the table, put a bit of a ribbon or something there, so they realize that all these are gifts. It doesn't have to be, oh, the decorations of red on a green Christmas tree. It looks beautiful, a borrowed culture, yes, beautiful and all of it. Nevertheless, it should not define how we approach it. There are different ways we can give people, right? So it's now to choose what is within my means that I can use as a gift that would also, it's when it comes to widow's mite, where it comes from my heart, but then it will be valuable to the person. It could be a kind word. It could be a message of appreciation. It could be a hug. It could be a thank you. It could be, let's go for a stroll. We never walked or strolled. Let's just go sit somewhere and recount how far we've come. There are different ways to express it. So quite importantly, not defeating or not forgetting the importance of contentment, of joy, gratitude, and peace in this season.
All right. In this season, you also have this practice where the giver is very active. You know, there are two sides to giving. You have the giver and the receiver. Now, the giver is given the gifts, but oftentimes the giver is also forgotten, you know, to either make provision for itself, just like, you know, the adversary from the flight attendant, wear your masks first. What's your take on this?
So when you said the giver and the receiver, what came to my mind? The giver and the givee. So the giver tends to always, yes, we sometimes we go out of our way and do a lot of things. And one of the things that tends to give us a sense of leaving, or even of valuing other people, is giving to them. And sometimes we forget that our cups have to be full. I like this analogy by Lisa Nichols, where she said, we should give people from our saucers after having filled our cups, our teacups to overflowing. But what we tend to do a lot of times is we give people from our teacups to the point where we now become empty and we are now the ones in need. And yes, like the flight attendant, gift yourself first. After gifting yourself, then you are now going to be stronger. Wear your mask first, then you're stable to be able to see correctly and help someone wear their masks. And hey, one of the best ways to help you wear your masks first, this season there's a conference, a resilience conference. And the purpose of the resilience conference is really to help you become strong in yourself, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically, spiritually, so that you can be strong enough to be a strength to someone else, or to be strength to someone else. We don't want to give to the point where we now become needy. So how do we begin to feel ourselves, feel our emotional state, feel our mental state? So part of gifting yourself is one of the things I invite you to do, to participate in the annual Resilience Conference coming up in January. And it's a very good way to tell yourself, well done, to tell yourself, hey, let us refeel, let us refire. The UR3 means unveil. We've had 1 year, another year is coming. Where am I? Review. How did I get here? What is this place doing to me? Redefine. Where do I want to get to? And relaunch after having defined where you want to get to. And just having people come speak to us about their resilience journeys and how they have pivoted regardless of life's disruptions to become, regardless of challenges, of loss, of failure, of difficulties, of the progressive change in the fourth industrial revolution and everything happening in the market space and economics, everything. How do we thrive regardless? How do you find yourself in your marriage, in your business, and your job? How else do you want to gift yourself, if not to gift yourself with the gift of resilience and strategy to position for the new year? Because in this year, we're giving gifts and we're eating and feasting And when the season is over, we get back to reality and we begin to ask ourselves, oh, January is 45 months and all of it. And we want to be able to start strong and finish strong and get to December 2024 and say, oh, I have survived this. I am strong through this. I have built a new level of resilience, a new level of understanding. I have transformed my business because I had a resilience mindset. I have transformed my relationship and my marriage because I had a resilience mindset and all of that. So it is a very good way to gift you. That's an example of a gift. So it doesn't have to be food and feasting, which we tend to do this period. Beyond food and feasting, gift yourself knowledge, gift yourself awareness, gift yourself mental strategy and emotional strategy to navigate and evolve beyond life's challenges. So that's an example of how to gift yourself greatness.
Interesting. Now let's look at the financial burden associated with gifting. You know, to buy a gift now, looking at the economic reality now, is not a joke. You need to have more than enough for you to be able to buy the right gift for the right persons. Talk to us.
Yeah.
Give us your advisory when it comes to the issue of handling the financial burden associated with gifting.
You know that old long living, or that old quote that we say, or adage, cut your cloth according to your size. No, but it's actually not cut your cloth. We'll change it. There's better reality. Cut your cloth according to your material. Because your material may not even be up to your size. It may not sew your full boo-boo. It may just be to sew half top. So recognizing where you are, cut your cloth according to your size, and grow. Allow yourself the process to grow gradually. In gifting, like I said, let's come back to gifting with the gift of UR3, the Annual Resilience Conference. There's presently an early bird, which you can jump on. Why? Because we consider that, even though it takes a lot to put such an event together, we can still have people jump on it to get it at a lower fare within a stipulated period, of which it's going off by the 31st of December. But that is also considering that, let's do some level of discount. I mean, the federal government cut transportation by 50%. That's also considering the burden of, and that's a gift. That is actually a gift. So we can actually, for those that have materials or those that have products or services, part of the gift that we can give to people is to reduce the prices in a way, of course, that will not cause us to start sinking. But just that is a gift, an end of year gift, and also a forward thinking gift to say, hey, this is what it typically is, but have this for this period before it goes off. And then for those that need to acquire the gift, there are two ways around it. You can collectively do that collectively, or you can actually pace yourself and, having saved over a period of time, and now go get what is within your power, not what is out of your power. There's also the possibility for individuals or a collection of individuals to collect a pool, create a pool of gifts to more people, probably individuals that have more or that can afford it, to give to more people. So you can say, one person says, I have this, I want to use this, I want to get 500 tickets or 500 gifts to give to 500 people because I have the capacity. Another says, okay, I have 30, I want to get for 30 people because I have the capacity. So you can actually get that and distribute to people that you believe need it. It could be members of your family, it could be friends. But the most important thing is, quite importantly first, be content, be grateful for where you are, and don't cut your cloth beyond the size or the quantity of your material. And it's also a good time to find out how vested, and it's okay to even ask. Sometimes there's nothing wrong in asking for a gift. Sometimes we assume that, but this is where sometimes we just feel entitled that, the person should give me a gift. I have learned, if I want a gift, I ask. I would like a gift from the person I want a gift from. And it's up to the person to say, I have, I don't have. And it's okay. So if you want a gift from someone and you think you have some relationship capital, quite important. There should be some level of relationship capital. You really want this from someone and can say, oh, I would like such and such. I really would have loved to have such and such this year. And it's now up to the person to say, hey, okay, and get it for you. Yes, so those are the different options for how I believe we can go around this gifting thing and it doesn't become a burden, or we don't go as stealing, or we don't go coveting what is not ours, or hating someone because they didn't give it us, or feeling entitled that we should get it. But looking at it from a good perspective, it's a season of love, a season of gratitude, a season of joy. So we should seek to put joy on other people's faces and also seek to maintain our joy, putting joy on our faces so that we can give to other people as well. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, very well. Now, how do you handle this kind of situation where you keep giving someone a gift or a group of persons gifts, and then they remain ungrateful? Will you say that would defeat the essence of giving or make the giver weary? And how do you handle this kind of situation?
That can be, I can imagine how, not frustrating, but annoying that can be. Let's say that, because, so it's two things. You have to be, if you're giving and expecting a thank you in return, that will be frustrating. If you're giving and expecting an appreciation in return, that will be frustrating for people who do not know how to be appreciative for whatever it is that you give them, not realizing what it may have cost you to give them. And I'll quickly give an example. Once I was in a supermarket and I was about to enter, and someone asked me for, oh, please give me some money. And I said, oh, I don't have cash. I just had my card, just out of the country. And then I went to the supermarket, came out, I just thought, okay, I don't have money, but I can get him food. And I got a big, nice sandwich that I'd actually bought for my children prior, and they liked it. So I thought it would be a nice sandwich to buy. I just went to buy milk from the supermarket. So I bought milk and bought a sandwich. I bought yogurt, I beg your pardon. And then I came out and gave this gentleman the sandwich. And then he just goes, I don't eat that. Are there no cakes or milk? And I was bewildered. I'm like, my goodness, no thank you, nothing. And then to just the disgust on the face. And I said, I'm sorry, this is what I could get. And he just went away with irritation. So there I am saying, I regretted having to be kind. And then I'm asking myself, sometimes I see someone, I'm like, do I want to give this person? But I guess, and this was feedback from my first son, he just said, give regardless. How do we give regardless of how people choose to see? So when you want to give, particularly give to people that you don't expect to say thank you from. If they say thank you, that's a bonus. Give from your heart because you want to give, not because you want to hear a thank you from them. Give because giving is a part of you, because giving is something. If possible, give to people that cannot even tell you thank you. And gift it because it is a good gesture, not because you expect from them. However, if there are those that you now become entitled to your gifting, where it's such that they make you an enemy or they're not grateful, then you have to learn now, begin to learn how to manage that and let them begin to value the importance of having and the importance of gratitude, whether you're going to teach them and however you're going to teach them, either by education or by earning it, getting them to earn it. But quite importantly, if you're going to give because you are a giver, because giving gives you fulfillment, because giving makes you happy, not because you want to get a thank you or you're giving it as a gift so that you can go and wait for them in front at the junction to get from them as a result of what you had given to them. Yes. So I believe we should also come to the giving table with an open heart to just give regardless, where we can. And where we can, for example, this gentleman that said, oh, I don't eat such. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't give beyond that. And I move on to someone else who will take it, right? Yeah.
All right. Are there emotional or mental burden or significance or impact of giving? Maybe we'll look at that side. What are the emotional benefits or the emotional burden or distraction associated with giving, especially in this climate or in areas where some people also have that mentality that they need to receive gift? What are the emotional or the mental burden associated with giving?
The emotional burden, would it be on the giver or the part of the receiver?
Giver this time around, because the sacrificial part of it is coming from the giver. So let's start with the giver, and then let's also look at the impact on the receiver.
So on the part of the giver, I'm wondering if there is a burden, then there should be no giving. When I mean there should be no giving, if you consider it a burden, then that means it is overwhelming. But if you consider it really, even if you feel you don't have the means enough to do it, there should be some level of joy doing it regardless. So if there's no joy, there's no feeling of fulfillment, then that is going to be a lot of mental and emotional burden. So it's not a sacrifice of love, it's a sacrifice of bitterness. So why give? And one of the positives of giving that I believe you should get from giving, say for example, I had been saying I wanted to do something for my children's teachers for a long time. So my husband and I decided to get something for their teachers from different years, through the years of being in the school. And there were some that when we eventually gave them that gift, there was one that said, "Are you sure it is me? Because she taught my son 4 years ago and she thought I'd forgotten." I said, "No, I know it is you." And so that excitement, that, oh my gosh, you remember me. Even though it was after I got that feedback that I realized, oh, that was some significant thing I did for them. They felt remembered, they felt valued. But they say teachers' blessing is in heaven, teachers' reward is in heaven, but hey, why not we bring it to earth? So just that sense, that feeling of gratitude on their part of, oh, like God answered a prayer, gave me a sense of deep fulfillment and excitement and joy and gratitude that I could move them to that state or put them in that place of joy and gratitude, right? And excitement as well. So on the part of the giver, the excitement or the transformation that the receiver may have can actually make you want to do more, make you want to, oh, wow, I should do this more. Why have I not been doing it? How else can I do to put a smile on someone's face? That doesn't take away the fact that you may now put a smile on someone's face and the person's ungrateful. Now, what that emotion would leave would be an emotion of regret or sadness or so. Regardless of what I went through, this is how you want to receive it. So that could also bring the feeling of disappointment, sadness, regret. But if we remember our why we gave it in the first place, if we gave because of the willingness to give or the personal fulfillment to give, then we can choose ourselves to say, regardless of how this person chooses to see it or receive it, which I have no control over, I will maintain the joy that I felt inside of giving. I will maintain the drive that made me want to give in the first place and choose joy over disappointment, choose gratitude over anger, right? So at the end of the day, we can choose that. On the part of, so I just talked about both the giver and the receiver, the giver and the givee, but the receiver. So the receiver, of course, there's a lot of, oh my word, just give an example of pulling from the example I just gave. Oh my word, thank you so much. I didn't expect this. So there's a lot of, there's the gratitude, there's the joy, there's the excitement, and and they're pouring out a lot of prayers for you. So the receiver is thankful, particularly when they don't expect it. However, if they now begin to become entitled and expect that by all means they should get that, then it could begin to leave feelings and emotions of animosity, of irritation, of anger and bitterness towards people that really do not owe them to give them, but are only giving them because of their heart of kindness, to help to come through in that situation, to fulfill the reason for the season, which is gifting and showing love and all of that. So I've just shared on both sides on how it can be, and it's really up to us to catch ourselves, catch our thoughts. I always say, catch your thoughts and sit with them. They will give you a lot of insight about where you are and help you to reposition to where you want to get to, and even from where you're coming from. So the moment you're feeling that thing, and it can come to anyone, it can even come to the giver, it can come to the receiver. The moment you begin to feel a negative thought, catch that thought, question it, and replace it with a more progressive and positive thought. Because when you don't, the longer it sits, the longer it festers, it begins to grow from anger to rage to irritation to all extreme forms of emotion that can now turn to an action, transform to an action where you begin to act out of character, because our thoughts eventually become behaviors. And in between the thoughts and the behaviors are the emotions. So how do we catch those emotions before they turn into actions? To catch the emotions, we'll have to catch the thoughts that we're thinking about the person or about the giver, what we have not received, and rechannel how we want to engage subsequently.
Beautiful. I like that submission, catch your thoughts, which is quite necessary. On that note, we have to wrap up this conversation, and I must thank you for giving us the gift of your time. That's the best gift you've given us this morning. You know, it's Boxing Day, and so you've given us the gift of your time and your wise counsel. So we must thank you for your commitment. Steph, we're quite grateful. Thank you for joining us on the next thing this morning.
Is it okay to add something? Add a little extra, reinforce a gift that we can get for ourselves? So before I just want to remind us that, hey, and this is my gift to you.
Okay.
To get your tickets for the upcoming, yes, to just get your tickets, a gift to yourself for your resilience, for your emotional, mental, and spiritual and physical well-being as we step into the new year. Get the gift of resilience. We all need resilience. The world is progressively evolving. And while resilience threshold has dropped, the issues of depression and anxiety and even suicide has peaked. And we need to bring that down. What we need people with a resilience mindset and resilient emotions to, regardless of how life plays, you're able to bounce back and tell yourself, I'm not giving up until I win. Even if I don't win, I will finish strong. There's strategies to that. So, hey, get on the UR3 Unveil, Review, Redefine, Relaunch conference and gift that to yourself, gift that to your loved ones. It will last longer as a gift than the boxes that we want to exchange in feasting and all of it. So,
all
yeah,
right, thank you very much for your time and your commitment. We're
details.
quite grateful. All right, we've been speaking with Steph. She's been talking about the essence of giving, the idea of what giving should look like, the ideal mindset of giving, which is just to ensure that you add value to the other person. What's your own concept when it comes to giving? Don't forget you can share your thought with us by going on our social media platform and our YouTube page. We'll take a short break now. It's still, Boxing Day special. We'll continue with other conversation, but that will take place after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Blessing Aiche, anchor and exchange on Souq News. The beautiful season is here again.
I smell Christmas.
Ta-da! It's Christmas. Christmas is a holiday where we celebrate the birth of Christ. It is a super celebration where we share love and many cheers.
Christmas, a time to make merry and show love.
Spend time. Go out there and spend time with your family and friends and loved ones. I mean, you don't get to every time.
I can't wait to have my plate of rice and chicken.
I'm Adesua Iramasele. I'm a presenter and anchor right here on Souq News.
I am Osama Zaida Hosa, Femi Watch Limited owner of Souq News and Watch Radio. Wishing you a very wonderful Christmas. Christmas represents the incarnation of God, becoming man and showing us the greatest of love. It's a season to love one another. Show love to a brother out there and let the love move around.
Christmas. A lot of activity like jamboree, reunion, and the likes are already on Top Gear. In all of this, we would like to know what Christmas is to you. So come along as we gather diverse opinion on Christmas.
name is Ekemezia Nwakonobi. End of the year, holidays. And in some communities, in fact, in most communities, especially in the East, they use the period to organize a whole lot of things. Like, for instance, in my own community, we have Ofala Festival.
My name is Oluwatosin Akinyelure.
Motayo Rachel.
Okay. Christmas is the celebration of Christ and is always celebrated on the 25th of every year.
My Christmas is the celebration of Christ.
Well, I'm staying indoor. I don't want stress because it's always traffic. On the 25th, it's always rowdy and noisy, so I don't want to. So I would prefer to stay indoor.
I'll be going out with my family.
Queen Darlene.
Rita.
Okay, Christmas for me is one of those seasons that we share love. We tell people about the good news of the birth of Christ. We have fun with family and friends. It's usually more of a retreat for us, family, friends, age grades, get together, do a lot of things, and then we celebrate and thank God for the year that we've already concluded, and then we set up new goals for the next year.
Be with them, have fun. For me, I miss my family.
My name is Kash Ohio Audu. As for me, it's celebration period. You know, it has no religious significance as far as I'm concerned. It was orchestrated and put together by some people, you know, to celebrate a period of time. You know, and then we just come to celebrate it. But for me, that's all that it is. You know, it has nothing to do with maybe the born person, the no born person.
Mrs. Chinelo Ilofulunwa. For me as a Christian, it's a time we can commemorate the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ. So we try to keep our hearts and our environment in order for the celebration.
Good morning and welcome to Early Exchange with Blessing H.A., Femi Ayodele, Sam Oruoje, and Idahosa Osamanze.
It's a national orientation agency. It's, as far as I'm concerned, very idle and unprofessional.
If government says that subsidy is not in oil and government is not supposed to be paying subsidy in oil,
energy or whatever kind of off-grid solution we will be looking at.
Today we are conducting mining today. Solid minerals, as an example, is, in no disrespect to anybody, is abysmal. We definitely need improvements in those areas. Of course, there are infrastructural needs.
This is Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
Many thanks for staying with us in Early Exchange. It's Boxing Day, and I do hope that you received lots of presents yesterday, which was Christmas Day. And as you unwrapped them, I'm sure they met your expectations. Yes, some persons had a wish list, and hope the wish list they do actually check. Well, for us here in the studio, we received one of our presents, and we are unwrapping. Yes, it does meet our expectations. I'm talking about Funsho Clark, who is a music artist and also a sculptor, as we look at music and fine art as tools for celebration. Good morning, Funsho. Thank you for gracing us with your presence this morning.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you for having me.
All right, so I was talking about you being our presents that we've unwrapped. And of course, what we see meets our expectation, because you've been on Early Exchange before, and from our interaction with you, it was a wow show that day, because you even gave us something from your album, and it was a wonderful one. We do hope that you'll be performing one of your songs today for us too.
I don't have much voice because I have cold this morning, sorry.
Is it that the cold didn't get the memo that we're in the festive season?
No, it's because of the harmattan, the weather. And you have a lot of dust in the area.
Yes.
So when the dust gets into your nostrils, what that thing does is it chokes your throat.
Okay.
So you have to force yourself to sing. I wouldn't want to do that here as a professional.
I understand. We'll find a way to cope. But let's talk about music and fine art as tools for celebration. We're in the festive season, and you can find people marrying all over the place. You do reggae music particularly. What's your observation about the kind of music that is being played, being enjoyed in this season? Do you find reggae music so much in demand at this season?
Not exactly, because a lot of people like all those hip-hop, all those, I don't know, the kind of songs that they sing in Nigeria. But reggae music is a music that's supposed to be aired everywhere in radio stations. But people don't have that enough understanding about reggae music. So what they do is that they play other songs instead of reggae music, because in the first 6 seasons, a few people play reggae music.
So why don't we have reggae artists writing Christmas songs for celebrations? It seemed like much of reggae artists focus on social conscious kind of music.
Yes, you know, as a reggae musicians, most especially the root ones, they are always conscious, not about because of this season, let's sing Merry Christmas, whatever. No, we talk about things that happen in the community, in the world. So we are used to such things. I get my point. So we are not the type of, maybe when it gets to Christmas, we talk things against the government that's not doing well. So we are not used to that Merry Christmas or whatever. I'm sorry.
But wouldn't you have more audience, and wouldn't it endear many people to reggae music if you had like specials like this, specials for all seasons? Yes, at other times of the year we can talk about the ills in society. It can be a way to bring back government on track when they do go off track, but something too for seasons like this. Do you think it should be considered?
No. Why? Because you have to be natural in anything you do in the life, in this world. You have to be very, very natural. You don't force yourself to things that you don't do at all. The only person that did that, I think, is Bonnie M. The song, whatever. But most root reggae musicians, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Bonnie Whalers, Kokoti, Culture, they are all conscious musicians.
Now, let's talk about music in general. In Nigeria, Nigerian music is becoming more and more appreciated globally. Yeah. The quality of our music, how can we improve it to give it that stay power? So it's not a thing that a song drops, people just dance to it after about 3-4 months. We don't really have classics anymore.
Yes, because a lot of people, you know, there's one thing in this life, you cannot give what you don't have. It's what you have inside you that you give out. Most artists in Nigeria now, they believe, let us go to the studio and do cartoon, danceable. They don't have any lyrical content that is strong enough to withstand the people, other musicians in Europe. Understand? So Nigerians, we have a lot of problems. We need a lot of things to do. We have a lot of work to do. If Nigerians don't do well outside, maybe this person, I don't know their names because I'm not used to all those Nigerians. I'm sorry, I'm not being prideful. I'm just being natural. I listen to international reggae.
So you're not patriotic? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. I told you have to be natural in anything you do. Don't force yourself to what you don't do. You see, Nigerian artists, many of them, they go to, I want to blow. They do. People dance with the song. After some time to die. Like, for example, now, you see a lot of musicians that are alive. Their music are gone. But those are there that the songs have little content, the music still booming like as if you just did the music today. So the only thing that we should not encourage that kind of system where because they are selling now, people are saying, hey, this one, see bye for you. Then, I'm not trying to mention that, just use that as an example. If you ask him, I called him, I said, oh boy, do something that will make sense, shake my point, so that the song was strong, able to cross across Nigeria, Africa, and Europe. He said, good one. You know, I should broke one eye, but still, it's the same thing it's doing. So we have problem of sitting down to crack our brain, but you can't force them. Like I said earlier on, you cannot give what you don't have. That's not the problem. That's it.
Talking about not being able to give what you do not have, and being able to put together good music. Now, music is actually a course in tertiary institutions. There are people who actually went to school to study music, but it's not quite popular anymore for you to find someone saying, I want to study music. Do you think that is one of the ways to ensure that people can actually give so much in terms of good quality music?
No. Not at all. You see, you can go and read music, just like acting. If somebody went to read theater art for years, that person might not be able to act. Everything be given to him or her. You have to have that raw talent. You have to be in the blood. If you don't have it, you can deliver. I'm just saying the same thing. If you like, go and study in best music school, that cannot make you to have a good lyrical content. If you don't have it, you must have it first before you polish it.
Sir, how do we polish it? People just have a liking for music these days. They get into the studio, get the producer to work a beat for them, and then they sing to it. I know that artists of your generation and even before can play multiple instruments. That's rare to find these days. So where would that kind of training come? Even the late fella Anikulapo Kuti could play musical instruments. Does it begin from there, understanding the instrument? Does it also help with inspiration, being able to write songs with stay power?
Good question. No. I should say no. You see, one thing that the problem the youths now have now is that they don't want to listen to those that have been there. Because maybe one way or the other, somebody sponsored them able to push the music. I called a lot of artists. I've called some of them. Oh, do this, so Egbo, Mombo. They go and do nothing. So since they don't want to listen, they can't get the right thing. They will see, we are doing something good. You know, there's a difference between you doing something good and you are doing the right thing.
Okay.
Man, it's good. This is not right. So that's the problem we're having. It's not going playing. You play instruments, it can inspire you when you have it naturally in you. Then you bring out the best in you. The only thing they can do something was to listen to advice of those who have been there. But because of their pride, I'm sorry, and their arrogance, they just no challenge attitude. You understand? But if you can bring the head down and learn from those who have been there, so those who can put them through this, how you should write your songs, this how you should arrange your songs, this how you have to do this, then they will get it. Then maybe that thing inside them will not come out. Because most of them, they are not going to the right places to get the real fact.
All right, so music has evolved. We have what is called contemporary music right now.
Yes.
And so the audience too has also evolved. Now, before this time, people used to like songs with lots of lyrics, and then when they listen to it, you can find, I know that for me, my mom, when we're listening to songs, she's nodding like, it's talking about life. The artist is talking about life. But these days, even when an artist puts a song like that, the market for that kind of song doesn't seem to really be there. So do you think that the audience is also a factor for why the artists of these days just want to do a song people can dance with, whatever the meaning of the song is, nobody really cares?
Let me tell you one thing. Do I tell you one thing?
Go
they
ahead,
say
please.
music, if you want to do something good, let me just go, something right, let me say right. You have to let the audience know that this is what you should listen to, not what they want to listen to. For example, fella Anikulapo Kuti, late fella, he doesn't care. Now this one mean I'm here. Now no way, now this one must hear. And that's a song that will sell. You understand? It's not that you have to do it in anyhow you want it, or because it's contemporary, so. No. You have to do something that you think this is what music, this is what you should hear. That's what put it on them. But because you want to do something, this is what they want, so let me do what they want. No. You can't go far. Yes. Bob Marley, that's why they killed Marley, because he was doing something right. Fela, the same thing. Lucky Dube, the same thing. I guess, and they are gone, but the song is more stronger. So we should let this youth know that music is not what they want to listen to, but what they should listen to is what you should tell them. This is what you should hear. And that is a very powerful lyrical content. And once it's like that, it might just be burning cement and burning cement to go, this is that song go, making sense. So we should not encourage the youth now to like, because any kind of beat, because shoot, whether it's talking nonsense, the beat is sweet, oh, let's move, let's do this. No. That's a big problem. Music is that you should let them know this is what you should listen to, not what you want. And that is music.
What is the role, what do you think should be the role of the record labels? Because sponsoring a music album all by yourself is not something every music artist can do. Exactly. Some have been performing for years, but they've not been able to get signed onto a big record label. So it's like, it's about the record label. You do what they want you to do. So what should be the role of the record label?
The record label, what they should do is that they should kind of give them training. There's a special training before they sign them. You might be very, very good in your own way, but I think because of their own business, they are putting money, they're stakeholders. So they must like give the artist the special training before they sign them. I know what I'm saying.
Okay. All right, we'll take the discussion further after this break. Do not forget, we're still talking with Funsho Clark, who is a music artist and, of course, a sculptor. That's fine arts. The part that has to do with sculpting, we will see that aspect of him after this break. Just stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Blessing Aiche, anchor and exchange on Souq News. The beautiful season is here again.
I smell Christmas.
Ta-da! It's Christmas. Christmas is a holiday where we celebrate the birth of Christ. It is a super celebration where we share love and many cheers.
Christmas, a time to make merry and show love.
Spend time. Go out there and spend time with your family and friends and loved ones. I mean, you don't get to every time.
I can't wait to have my plate of rice and chicken.
I'm Adesiwa Iramasele. I'm a presenter and anchor right here on Souq News.
I am Osama Zaida Hosa, Femi Watch Limited owner of Souq News and Watch Radio. Wishing you a very wonderful Christmas. Christmas represent the incarnation of God, becoming man and showing us the greatest of love. It's a season to love one another. Show love to a brother out there and let the love move around.
Let us also give thanks for Jesus, because Jesus is the reason for this whole season. It's also the reason why we have hope that as we journey into the new year, it will not be in vain and that things will get better.
This Christmas, I'm joining this unit in wishing Nigerians wherever they are, saying to them, Merry Christmas.
The church is wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, a happy and prosperous New Year.
I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance.
I wish everybody in Nigeria Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. God bless Nigeria. God bless everybody.
Have a good Christmas. Have a Merry Christmas. I wish you all the best.
My greetings go first to the President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his wife, Senator Remi Tinubu. As we celebrate Christmas, I want to greet the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Oba of Lagos and his traditional chiefs, the Catholic Bishop of Lagos, Dr. Adewale Martins, and all Nigerians. I wish you all a very happy Christmas. Eko ni baje o, eku odun, eku yedun.
Good morning and welcome to Early Exchange with Blessing Aiche, Femi Ayodele, Sam Oruoje, and Idahosa Osamanze.
It's a national orientation agency. It's, as far as I'm concerned, very idle and unprofessional.
Government says that subsidy is not in oil, and government is not supposed to be paying subsidy in oil.
Energy or whatever kind of oil-based solution we will be looking at.
Today we are conducting mining today. Solid minerals, as an example, is, in no disrespect to anybody, is abysmal. We definitely need improvements in those areas. Of course, there are infrastructural needs.
This is Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
It's good to know you're still with us on Early Exchange this beautiful morning, and we've been talking about music and fine art as tools for celebration. In the studio with us this morning is a reggae artist and also a sculptor. So having talked a whole lot about music, or the music part of him, I know you're eager to know, okay, is he really a fine artist? Does he sculpt? We'll look at that. But before we get into that, let's talk some more about music. So before we went in that break, we were talking about the role of the record labels, how that sometimes the artists themselves just have to do what the label wants them to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but in movie industry, you find veterans still there,
Okay.
but we don't find the same thing in music. It's rare for you to find a record label owned by a veteran music artist, so that this shaping you're talking about, training the young artist on the essence of music, how music should be done, but we don't find that connection, we don't find that mentoring. Is it about the funds, or it's just a personal thing? If you're a good artist, it's all about your career. There isn't that kind of mentoring in the music industry.
Oh, yes. So one thing I want to ask to know is that it's about the country we find ourselves. The country we find ourselves. See, the country itself not encouraging, and then they don't have the understanding about entertainment, just like other African countries or other European countries, where they encourage things that have to do with entertainment. They pump money, they do. So when such thing happens, then the person, the record label, you have confidence that there will be some slight backing. You can go and put money on an artist, and eventually you find out that you just lose your money. So that's why I don't have the veterans. I mean, that's kind of the answer point. They have to think very, very careful how you spend money. I know the way things are in Nigeria now. So that's why.
All right, let's also talk about the veterans. There's songs that were done years back. And these days, the younger generation, particularly the Gen Zs and even the Alphas, can't relate to those songs. But they're good songs. Should we be looking at a remix of some of those songs? Maybe collaboration between some of your colleagues and the Gen Z artists to bring some of the songs to life and give it an appeal for this generation.
Yes, exactly. I agree with you. There should be something like remix to bring back the oldies, you understand? So people to, not only that, try to gather some new artists, the young ones, so that they can get experience. I get my point. So when they join with those other people, so as they are going with their own music, they also will have a kind of mentality that, okay, this is how it's supposed to be done, or okay, this is how it has been done, or showing my point. That's what I think.
All right, in terms of patronage this season, how has it been for you as a reggae artist, having concerts and shows, being able to make people smile and get into the festive season?
Well, it has not been easy. It has not been easy because a lot of people are finding it difficult to get money to come and watch events, even to sponsor events. So what I do is that there's a place in OJ's in my area, Butimeta. So I started reggae night there every Wednesday. Reggae night every Wednesday. So people come there, they don't pay, they just come to relax and enjoy, buy drinks and things like that. So not much patronage.
So let's look at band music. We have different kinds of music artists. There are those who are recording artists, there are those who are just performing, and some of them have bands like you are getting into now. What do you think is the future of band music, or those who own music bands, future music bands in Nigeria?
Yes, there are a lot of advantage, please, because, for example, if you're an artist, whether a rapper or a singer, if you have not sang with a band, you're not a professional. Yes.
Why is that so?
Yes, because you have to know your keys. You see, you have to know your keys. You have to know how to make use of the stage. I get my point. So you singing, you put CD A, play CD 1, play CD play CD 2. No. You are still a local artist. So what
even if you're performing at the international stage.
If you're performing at the international stage, if they don't have a band, unless they don't use a band, but if they have a band there and you went to your CD, they ask them to play your CD. My sister, that person is just a local artist, not professional. So let me come back to what you question. See, band, it's something where one, the artists that sing on the stage will do a lot of drama, dance, do some kind of mixes of the stage, do some kind of, so that makes the audience crazy. Oh, it's screaming now, it's understand? So it will sell, it will move anywhere in the world. Just like Michael Jackson does and all this Mali and all this whatever. So stage thing is, can't compare to just a record. Like most people now, like I know, they're recording artists, they can sing on stage. And before they to sing on stage, they have to go and take drugs. Either they take India M or they take colos or mix them together. They want to high. And that's what's destroying the life of the youth now. As I'm sitting here, I'm not boasting. I don't take alcohol, I don't take cigarettes. I stopped all this alcohol 1995 till date. I stopped cigarette in 1991 till date. So I don't believe in drugs. So that's really affected a lot of youth now. You understand? So they can't go to the stage to sing, to face the crowd. They have to take something. Yes, because they are cowards.
Okay, let's look at the challenges of living the life of a music artist. Once you're a known music artist, it's almost like saying you're a star.
Exactly.
You talked about the influence of drugs or artists that have taken to drugs. Sometimes for some of them, it's not about performing. It's just like, it's like an attendance problem that comes with it. What are the ways to deal with some of the challenges that come with the life of being a star or a celebrity, someone who you have fans, you do good music, and so you're appreciated? Is it possible? You have been able to stay clean of all of these things all these years. What helped you?
Is God, understand? First, first of all, you have to look at it as, the strength of a man, I'm talking general here, is a mind. And the weakness of a man is a mind. If you want to do something, your mind will tell you, I can't do it. Your mind will tell you, I can do it. So I just sat down, I don't look at it, and know this thing cannot be, I can't be a slave to this. I don't want it. And I got to stop it. And I did, by His grace. So the only thing is to just call the youth and kind of give them orientation about that kind of life. That this is not what you understand. You need to, because you want to be a star, you have to take all these drugs. So give them the kind of training and let them know this is not, it's not a good thing. You keep talking to them, advise them. And of course,
So let's talk about fine arts now.
Yeah.
You are a sculptor.
Yeah.
So for seasons like this, do you make things that people can use to celebrate Christmas? Put in their houses, put in their shops, that shows we're in the festive season. Sculpting for celebration. Let's talk about that.
Yes. I have some works that I made, some small paintings and some sculpture works. Understand? That people already been coming to my place to buy a few things, like small miniatures, like this small works. Understand, for festive season. Sometimes I can make cards. I design cards, Christmas cards, kind of customized cards. Maybe, sorry, your name again?
My name is Blessing.
Sorry, Blessing, design Blessing on the card, make it beautiful, and make my money.
Yeah, I like the money part. So,
I know you like money, you're a lady now. Women, they like money than men.
I mean, everybody likes money, and they say money makes the word go round.
Yeah, exactly.
So, fine arts, how's it doing in Nigeria? What do you think is the appreciation? What is the level of appreciation of fine arts in Nigeria?
Good question. The level of appreciation here is very low. Low in the sense that, one, because of the economy of our country. Number one, when people have not been able to get money to feed themselves, You are going to buy an artwork. They love it. They love it. You want to buy it. This is beautiful. This artwork is so. Now when I talk about money, to bring money, they can't pay. You understand? They can't pay. So people just spend money on some other things, maybe clothes, shirts, all those whatever. Understand? See, not that they don't have love for the artworks. They begin to appreciate artworks, but the money to buy them. They buy what they appreciate, sorry. Do you want to go to why I made that statement? To buy what they appreciate.
Yes, go ahead.
This is an artwork now. If anybody went to an exhibition hall and say, I bought this artwork for so million, I will challenge that person.
Why would you do that?
Good question. I will tell you, my man, you bought the physical part of the art, not the spiritual part of the art. It's what you saw, the beauty you bought. Because when the artist was creating the artwork, it was from the inner self of the artist, before the artist brought it to reality, for you to see precisely what was in the artist's mind. So that you did not buy. You bought that physical part.
Okay. All right, so are there certain kinds of artworks that are more in demand at times like this than others?
Yes, good question. Most especially paintings. You know, people, when you have paintings, I sell more paintings. I'm a major sculptor, understand, as a sculptor. So I do some abstract paintings. So they believe when they see painted works, I can buy this. But they see sculpture when they run away. Leave my own. I would say, leave my own. They'll go for it. So they buy more of paintings than sculpture works. Not that they don't appreciate the sculpture, because they see that the medium and the everything, the money is always high.
But can sculpting attend to children? Now, children love toys. They love to mimic what they see. Like for little girls, they want to have dolls that will make them feel like, oh, they are mothers. They're carrying babies. But these things somehow belong to the foreign markets because they're produced by foreign companies and they're in the markets. Can we have our artists, it may not be a sculpted work, but can we have our artists design things like that for children?
Exactly, because it depends on the medium. I get my point. You see, when you use fiberglass for, or different, like this, I think it's a fiberglass work. So you can use that and make smaller dollies for children. I'm talking about with different like metal for adults, but you can use fiber material to make those dolls for kids to buy. Make cars, make small, yeah.
Okay, all right. So let's look at in season like this. You know, earlier we were talking about reggae music, and you mentioned that we don't have much reggae songs at this time. But I know you said that you don't have quite a good voice right now because you have cold. But if you were, for instance, to send a Christmas message or a festive message to people, what would be that thing you would say to them? Let me assume that you won't sing it, but you would say it.
Do I say it now?
Go ahead.
Yes. All I just want to tell everyone is that I wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance, and just be creative in everything you do. Thank you.
All right, so as we're getting to the new year in a matter of days, what should be the focus of artists, Nigerian artists? What should we do? What should Nigerian artists do differently from what has been done in 2023 to get more gains from the profession?
Good question. You see, what I think we artists should do now is we should go and do a lot of researches and try and check what people want and what, you know, they really, not really what people really need, and let me use the word need. Because at times you might make some things that you say they feel they want this, but they don't really need those things. What they really need to capture their, so you just have to do some things, go around and say, okay, this is what they will need, or okay, let me make all this line so I can do all this so we can sell. But at times you make all those bigger things, you give names, this is capture the pics, so, blah, blah, blah. If you go this is where the abstract, realism, whatever. In my things, maybe that's on one side. Maybe other people need something like, something that you can use to beautify their city rooms, or whatever, their offices, and maybe pen holders, or whatever, abstract, whatever. So that things we should focus on, trying to check precisely what they really need, so we can make those things and sell.
Okay, finally, we have the infusion of different sounds into the Nigerian markets. We have, at one time, it was house music. The beat was different. Right now, it's amapiano. And all of this have a kind of impact on Afrobeat. How do we, how can the artists ensure that while they want to be creative, because you talked about being more creative in the new year, they still preserve the Afrobeat, which is original to Nigeria?
Original?
Yes.
Original?
Yes.
Original.
You like that?
So what is original is good, rather than you forcing yourself to something else. So it's better let's be on that original part, something that's creative, that's something you come from your inner self of you, than forcing yourself. I'm a piano, whatever. I don't understand. But let's go to that real,
the beats.
That African beats. Let's continue to make use of the African beats because that has more stand. You know, you have fella Afro beats. Most of the instruments, they have some African percussions, all those things. So those artists have more weight, and those artists in white people really appreciate. You have some people, they have some group from Nigeria, Financial Theatre, going to Germany. When they see them play on stage, live stage, you say, this is Africa. Something that really depicts Africa. You say, Africa, Africa, Africa. That's what is original. And that's why I went back and said, yeah, original. So Africa, that's our culture. Our culture, let's hold it tight, because it stands out anywhere in the world.
So whether it's the Afrobeat sound, is the South African sound, amapiano, it's house music, whatever, Africans should ensure that the originality should be there. That's what sells you to the world. Thank you very much, Funsho Clark, for being with us this morning on Early Exchange.
Thank you very much.
We had hoped that you'll be able to sing, but yes, we understand. Maybe next time we'll get something from you.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a break, and then when we get back, we'll be looking at something else. It's still Early Exchange. It's the Boxing Day edition.
Let us also give thanks for Jesus, because Jesus is the reason for this whole season. It's also the reason why we have hope that as we journey into the new year, it will not be in vain, and that things will get better.
This Christmas, I'm joining this unit in wishing Nigerians, wherever they are, saying to them, Merry Christmas.
The church is wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, a happy and prosperous New Year.
I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance.
I wish everybody in Nigeria Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. God bless Nigeria. God bless everybody.
Have a good Christmas. Have a Merry Christmas. I wish you all the best.
My greetings go first to the President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his wife, Senator Remi Tinubu. As we celebrate Christmas, I want to greet the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Oba of Lagos, and his traditional chiefs, the Catholic Bishop of Lagos, Dr. Adewale Martins, and all Nigerians. I wish you all a very happy Christmas. Eko ni baje o, eku odun, eku yedun.
Leadership is basically built on trust. Trust is the currency of brand, and the leader's brand is what attracts people to him to be inspired by it. Trust is the currency of brand, and the leader's brand is what attracts people to him to be inspired by it. And that trust is built on three key pillars. And the first one is basically being your true authentic self, or your credibility. And the Greeks call that your ethos. The second one is the rigor of your logic, the soundness of your discourse. And that's the Greeks called logos. And the third one is your empathy. And that empathy the Greeks call pathos. As a leader, people see and sense from you your distraction towards them. And think about the person that you visit your most distraction to, be it your spouse, be it your colleague, your staff. The one that you visit the most distraction to is one that you most withhold your empathy, and they can feel it. Think about it. Somebody sitting in front of you and interviewing for a job, and they keep looking at their phone. How likely are you to give them that job? Probably not. But you display that all the time to people that look up to you, and you wonder why they don't see you as an effective leader. The other one, being the rigor of logic, is a bit easier to tackle because throughout life, we are always on learning, and relearning. And the best thing to do to stay current, apart from having your deep area of specialization, is to have what we call an inch deep and mile wide knowledge of a whole plethora of things. Wide variety of things you learn about that makes you connected to people on various levels and increases your network. I think the other one, which is the credibility, is the one that we most flaunt. And that is the one that has got to do with being your true authentic self. And you find a lot of people, especially on social media, are trying to portray what they are not. They are trying to fake it. And it comes across very quickly when you are not being your true authentic self. And people pick it up and they don't trust you. If they don't trust you, they don't look up to you as a leader. Leadership is important. It is true leadership that we can nurture people to become future leaders. But we have to do it right. We have to earn it.
Hi, I'm Blessing Aiche, anchor and exchange on Souq News. The beautiful season is here again.
I smell Christmas.
Ta-da! It's Christmas! Christmas is a holiday where we celebrate the birth of Christ. It is a super celebration where we share love and many cheers.
Christmas, a time to make merry and show love.
Spend time. Go out there and spend time with your family and friends and loved ones. I mean, you don't get to do that.
I can't wait to have my plate of rice and chicken.
I'm Adesiwa Iramasele. I'm a presenter and anchor right here on Souq News.
I am Osama Zaida Hosa, Femi Watch Limited owner of Souq News and Watch Radio. Wishing you a very wonderful Christmas. Christmas represent the incarnation of God, becoming man and showing us the greatest of love. It's a season to love one another. Show love to a brother out there and let the love move around.
Good morning and welcome to Early Exchange with Blessing Aiche, Femi Ayodele, Sam Oruwoje, and Idahosa Osamanze.
It's a national orientation agency. It's, as far as I'm concerned, very idle and unprofessional.
If government says that subsidy is not in oil and government is not supposed to be paying subsidy in oil,
energy or whatever kind of off-grid solution we will be looking at.
Today we are conducting mining today. Solid minerals, as an example, is, in no disrespect to anybody, is abysmal. We definitely need improvements in those areas. Of course, there are infrastructural needs.
This is Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
Yes, it's still the special edition of Early Exchange. This one is specifically for Boxing Day, and I hope you've been having fun wherever you are joining us. We're still having fun here too as well. Our next conversation is to look at the impact of, Christmas spending on family. What will be the likely impact of that now that you're spending the money as the father, the mother, for the expenses made for this period? But what's going to be the impact on family life? Joining us is our own in-house person, Dr. Ida Osama is still here with us. Glad to know you're still here with us.
Femi,
I hope you've been having fun with us as well.
Yeah, we're having good fun.
After all, it's Boxing Day,
yes.
so either before the Christmas.
Buses are still coming in.
Yes, but for the ones that have come in, even before Christmas, Femi was asking, that should be Christmas Day, yes, yesterday about the boxes, and you said, oh, he'll be taken care of. So we'll get to open the box later after the show. I trust you.
I can assure you the dispatch rider is almost here.
Yes, I trust also someone say when he says it, he will do it.
We are in the center of where boss happen.
Okay.
All right, let's look at, the impact of Christmas spending on family life, at this period. A lot of people must have saved certain amount of money to cater for the needs, the demands, the family expenses around this period. Talk to us. What do you think would be the likely impact of that kind of pressure, that kind of burden on family life?
Well, Christmas is a special season that comes with its own peculiarities. In terms of spend, it's always a heavy spend. Everybody look at it as if it's going to be a 1 month or 1 year event. And we plan for this event and it's just 1 day. And so a lot of resources get into this planning. People want to buy new clothes, people want to move into new homes, people want to buy new cars, people want to eat good food, make children look nice. Some people want to travel and the rest of it. And all this is taking a toll on the pocket of an average person. So it's a time where people buy a lot of flowers. A lot of people also want to put events in here because it's also a time free for people to attend weddings and burials and the rest of it. So the Christmas season is a time of spending, and it's spending and spending and spending. But the only backside of it is the fact that after all this spending, it generally look very long.
It now becomes 60 days in January. Well, but some of the things people spend money on for Christmas are things that one would say they just have to do because people want to look good for family members and friends they haven't seen all through the year, and the events that they will be attending sometimes demand that they make new attires. But is there a way to cut down on the spendings? Are there ways to maybe what you used last year?
You don't really necessarily need to use what you used last year. And that's the point that I always try to make. If you look at Stevie Covey's work on time management, he talks about 4 quadrants in terms of time management. You have quadrant 1, where everything is urgent and important. You have quadrant 2, where everything is not urgent but important. You have quadrant 3, where everything is not urgent and they are not important. And you have quadrant 4, where everything is urgent but not important. Now, he says for a good planner, somebody who is strategic, his aim is always to be in that quadrant 2, where nothing is urgent but everything is important. Now, if we can plan our resources
using that mattress, you find that we will still make new dress for the Christmas, but we will spend less. So the problem here is the fact that many people, like Mesa Otabi has argued, prefer to buy the present. And so they don't invest in the future. And the present is always very expensive, because what we are dealing with here, for example, just clothing, is law of demand and supply. If you have a lot of demand and the supply is not equal, proportional to the demand, chances are, of course, the person who is selling want to raise price. So if I'm a tailor, for example, and you are giving me cloth and I'm going to sew, and he's bringing another one and say, come and sew for me, I'll tell him, okay. Because I know I already have a commitment with you. I say, well, it's 300,000. And if you say, I don't mind, I say, bring the money, because at least your own is valued at 100,000. So I drop your own and start to do his own. Somebody else come. So it is this pressure that pushes the price up. So for me, what people can actually do is to start to think about Christmas early enough. Now, if we sew that cloth, if we are disciplined in terms of our eating, exercising, and the rest of it, our size may not grow in just few months. So we should be able to still wear the clothes that were made sometime in June, or sometimes in July or August, and use it for Christmas. So in that case, there'll be no pressure in the market. So we are able to stabilize prices, because it's the pressure that is driving cost up. So, and many people don't start to think about it until the eve of Christmas. So that rush, and then people are taking advantage, opportunity comes for those who are selling and are spending so much money. I think these are just areas where people need to do a lot of strategic thinking and planning toward all events, and that makes life very simple. So you come to markets when there is no rush, so you can negotiate. Because when you are operating at quadrant 1, you spend more money because there's no time for negotiation, and there is a rush to deliver. So you will end up paying more for less, even sometime. So this is where, for a viewer out there, Christmas, like I said, you fix it a date 360 days ahead of the event. This one has ended now. We are waiting for the next one in December 25th, 2024. There's not going to be another announcement of date. We already know that that date is a holiday, that day is Christmas, that day we are waiting for the commemoration of the birth of Jesus. So everybody should be working towards that day, and so that we don't have to spend so much money trying to just achieve so little.
The other side to it is the societal perception. How do you manage the pressure, the societal pressure of not being able to live up to the standard expected? If at this period, for instance, your neighbor, has taken his children to one fast food joint, and you're like, your children can't do the same thing, How do you handle that kind of pressure that comes with that, or the kind of misconception that, yes, you're not prepared for Christmas, or you're not giving the best for your family for Christmas?
Well, I think they can all be also planned for. And that's what I keep advocating, that people should be, they say when you fail to plan, you're actually planning to fail. At the end of the day, you are saying to yourself, these are the things that I want to achieve. At the end of the year, you set them as a goal, prioritize them. In training, we have 3 levels. We usually will say, okay, if I'm preparing a slide for a training, for example, there is what is called the must know. And that will be based on the number of minutes that is given to me on my presentation. So if I'm preparing. So I have should know, and I also have could know. So which means based on the time that is allotted to me, if I have an hour slides to present, and I come to the show and they say to me, to the training, and they said, oh, you have just 15 minutes to make your presentation. So I will take the must know. So I don't need to look at the should know. Now, if I prepare for 1 hour and at the end of the day say, okay, this training can last for 1 hour, 30 minutes, then I could go down to the should know and the could know. And I think this, for me, is an approach we can also take to life. What are the things that are most important? The must do. So we can highlight that. And then the could do, or they should do. So once you do your planning, and you'll be able to understand what is the most important. And of course, and I think that most of the problem we also face is the fact of complex. There's so much complex around us. And we must also try as much as possible to grow our children to be confident in themselves. I started that with my children while they were growing young and they were in school. Remember this popular Valentine's Day and everybody must wear red. And they come home and they say, oh, Daddy, you know, they say we must wear red to school. And I say, why? They say it's Valentine's Day. I ask them, what's the meaning of Valentine? What has it got to do with color red? And they're looking at me and I say, tell your teacher that your father doesn't believe in Valentine. And so they go back to school and say, my dad doesn't believe in Valentine. That Valentine is evil feast. And then the teacher said, so I was trying to culture them to say, learn to be different. Don't follow the crowd. Because sometimes the crowd can also be very wrong. And I think this approach to life for me is an issue. Your children must know your capacity, the things you can do. See, this is a problem because when your children don't know what you can do, when there is this pressure, you will be under pressure. My children can vouch and say, look, this is what my daddy will do. It doesn't need to be Christmas. They know. And so if I don't have the means to do it at that time, they're not putting any pressure on me. My wife won't put any pressure on me because they know what I'm capable of doing. That I don't need to take them out only when it is Christmas. I can wake up in the middle of the day and say, well, okay, guys, let's go and catch some fun. Yeah, it could be quite different when they have it together with a group of people. But once you are able to commit to some of all these things, then you put down your pressure on Christmas. You know, the bad thing about Christmas is the fact that when we finish it, we enter into the new year. And the first week of that new year, school fees is knocking on the door. Especially for those who still have children in school. And they have to return back to school. So you have to be running around to see how to get them back to school. So you must make them understand which one is the most important, whether the school or the outing. So I think this conversation we can have with our children, so we are not necessarily bogged down. But if we can also make plans and preparation toward it, we can actually be thinking about it and then save toward it. And at the end of the day, you are not operating under any pressure.
Now, talking about school fees in January, there's also rent to pay in January and so many...
No, depending if your rent is starting in January. Some people's rent does not start in January.
Okay, some pay in the course of the year, but for some, it's January that they have to pay. You know, there's this thing that happens in January where for those who pay rent, it's increased. School fees, it's not exactly a new session, but it just seems like everything is expensive at that particular time. So what is the right way to plan for the year? Ending a year and starting a new one.
You know, yes, yesterday on Christmas Day, we were talking about this level of savings. I mentioned that usually I teach children and I said, look, as you start to take income, you must have to plan your income. Because the employer, for example, if you're working for somebody who is giving you salary, he programmed the salary along different level of allowances. There's transport allowance, there is feeding allowance, there is medical allowance, there is housing allowance. Sometimes some people have wardrobe allowance. Now, all of what this is tied into your one package salary. So what you should be able to do is that at the end of every month, you should also be able to patch this salary along this line. And this is what many families are not doing. Because they think that all the salary that comes in a month is meant for food. So you should be able, yes, you are open to your wife. What's our basic? Our basic is 10,000. That's our basic. That's what is left for us to spend at the end of the day. Because we have transport inside it. We have food inside it. We have medical inside it. We have our wardrobe inside it. So when we remove all of this, this is what is left. And this is what we are going to manage for the month. Now, once we adopt that planning style, you find that you will not fall a victim of this January stress, because you would have been able, for those in secondary school, they'll be paying for school fees in the term. The university may be per session, but you see some universities are also doing half term. So depending on when the term is starting or the semester is starting. So you will be able to put your money aside and say, this is towards school, this is toward rent, because rent is annual. So if you save annually, you will be able to achieve those goals. And so even from the 10%, also set some aside for investment. Because we cannot but speak to multiple streams of income. For workers, like I said to people, no matter how much you earn as a worker, it can't make you rich. Salary can't make you rich. So if you really desire to become rich, then of course, you must set aside part of your salary towards your wealth creation that makes you rich. So there must also be savings for investment, so that when opportunity meets with preparation, it will result into very great success.
All right, still talking about family financing. Whose responsibility should it be to handle the issue of finances? Is it the man in the house, meaning the father or the mother, or should it be a joint responsibility? I've seen instances women argue, okay, the husband's money belongs to the whole family, but that of the woman belongs to maybe for herself and for the children alone. So which side do you belong to, or what will be your advocacy? Is it joint sponsorship, or it should be the sole responsibility of the father of the house?
Well, I think it all depends on where your paradigm is flowing from. If you have a Christian worldview, as it were, you understand that it is the role and the responsibility of the man to provide for his family, not just the immediate family, even including the extended family. And so you take that as your responsibility. So your wife is there as a help fit for you. Now, for me, that should not actually be something that should be a debate. If people marry properly and for the right reason. Because the whole idea about marriage is to create a nation. It's to create a nation. So the man and the woman come together to birth a nation. So God didn't give the gift of family just for a standalone. He gave the gift of family so that we can build a nation out of one man. Now, in the course of this building, everybody has their role to play. And this is why, of course, at a certain level in terms of world conversation, that even the United Nations came to an understanding that the women who were full-time housewives were contributing so much to family upkeep, to the extent that they were not even included in the calculation of GDP because you couldn't measure what they were contributing. So it is easy for a man to sit down and think that everything that requires is just getting into the office, you give out 100,000 for a woman to cook or pay house rent or pay school fees, and that is all that is required for living. Now, when you go to a supermarket to go and buy something, somebody attend to you, you pay for it. If somebody boil water for you, you pay for it. That's service. If somebody cook for you, you pay for it. That's service. So you may be thinking that this woman who is sitting down ensuring that children are in school. You seldom see men go to a PTA meeting. And they don't realize that this is a contribution. Because what you are paid for in your workplace is your time. And this woman is also using her time. So you are thinking that you are the only one contributing. And I think that's a misunderstanding of what the essence of marriage is all about. So we must be able to know that everybody is bringing in something to the table. And the most important resource on earth is your time. And if the woman is committing time, whether income or money is not coming in terms of cash, even you as a man, by the time you encash it, you will discover that what she's bringing to the table could be even bigger than the so-called rent or the cost of petrol that you are putting in. You know, my auntie told me a story some years ago, and he said, well, when they just got married, the husband said, well, you know what, madam, you take care of the food because you're also earning income, and let me take care of school fees and house rent. And he said, when the mother came and said to him, so who is doing food? He said, you. He said, who is doing the rent and this? He said, no, swap the role. Swap the role so that
let's see who does more.
Let him do the rent. You do the rent and the school fees. Let him take care of the food. And the real reason was because many men don't really know what the cost of food is. And sometimes this requires the home management skills of the woman to ensure that even the little that you are providing is enough to go around the house.
Let's look at extended family. In the African society, it is not just the nuclear family, the man, the wife, and children. The extended family are carried along. Now, at this time, extended family members are expecting to receive gifts, receive things. People sometimes go out of your way, not just for their immediate family, but to satisfy extended family. What should be the approach?
Well, it's same approach. It's same approach. You have to save toward it. What comes to your mind is this fact that, look, this season is a season for giving. You're also programming the people that are valuable to you that you should give to. Your spiritual fathers, your earthly fathers or parents, your uncles, some neighbors around you who are not doing well. You're also intentional that at the end of the year, you are able to appreciate these ones. So once you make that a priority, you are thinking toward it. So this is Christmas season. I owe my father some bucks. I owe my mother some bucks. If you have a grandparent, you owe them because that's your responsibility. So you need to prioritize them, even saving toward it. But it is better planned to understand what you're going to give. You prepare it in your heart, what you are going to give, and work toward that. Now, one of the fundamentals, again, like I also see in our environment, which is even the biggest challenge we face today, is the fact that many people are over-consuming, and therefore they are not actually able to make plans for these ones. Now, if my knowledge of scripture serves me right, if you look at the civil administration in the Solomon Palace. You see what provisions that were made daily for people to eat. And these also were part of the reason why God was blessing him. And that's why you see in the scripture it said, it is blessed to give than to receive. So there's a blessing that comes with you giving. Now you can imagine that for everybody that you have given to, there's a word of prayer at the back of their heart for you. And they simply saying, God, bless this daughter. God, bless this friend. God, bless this sister. And God hears prayer. Whether the word accepts it or not, God hears prayer. And then the blessings come upon you. And we must understand this as the people of faith. Whether it's the West Muslim, Christian, Hinduism. The fact is that this principle is ingrained in every religion. That if you give, life come back to you. So once you understand this, you prioritize it. But for you to be able to survive in season like this, don't forget, you must cut your coat according to your clothes. It's important. So if you are eating too much, when I mean eating too much, I don't mean eba and gari or corn. What I mean is, if you put your child in a school that your finance cannot reach, you are living in a neighborhood that your income cannot carry, you will discover that at the end of the day, you will not be able to actually earn the blessings that come from giving, because you yourself, you are struggling to survive, even when nature has endowed you right. So, a moderation in life or living is my counsel to people, especially as we approach a season like this. That you are not just being the only one opening buses. People should also open your own bus.
Great. How do you think families can take advantage of a time like this to improve bonding and then family unity? Because the essence of the season is also celebration, but also love, celebrate love. So how can families take advantage of a season like this to improve love, unity, and then bonding, at home?
You know, as I sat down here early this morning, some feeling of nostalgia were just flowing through my heart. And I just remember the season, how it is or used to be when my father was alive. I saw this season my in-laws, those who married my aunts, come to my father's house to pay homage. And when they are coming, they come with their family, with some tubers of yam. They come with some drinks. And in return, we also make cookings. So you see this eating together. It's a form of covenant. It's a form of bonding between families. And all the differences, you throw them away. I remember I was going to our uncle's house and you are struggling and over food and people were just wondering. It was all fun. But ours seems to be gone now because of the walls that we are building around ourselves. And of course, distance also is not helping the matter, because those days people live in community. And now we're all scattered over. But I think like the Jews have a culture of at least returning back home once or twice in a year. Is something that's worth celebrating. That people should be able to use this occasion for family reunion, tell stories, and let people or children be grounded about the culture. Now, there's something that the Jews do when they celebrate the Passover, the Seder. And the table is set, which of course we call the Holy Communion today. And once they put the cups there, the bread is cut into two amasa. One of them, they go and hide. And at the end of all the meal, they ask the child to go and find the remaining part of the masa. And so by the time the child finds the father eventually brings it, okay, they give the child a reward. And then they take the last cup and they ask the child to go and look and see whether Elijah is coming. And then the child looks at the road and says, there's nobody coming. And they carry the cup and they keep it. And they say, we'll keep it for next year. Maybe Elijah will come next year. So what are they doing? They are telling the story of their Passover, which happened years before Christ was born. And up to today, the Jews are still telling the story. So it remains fresh in the heart of the people, what God did for them in time past. And so it's like a memorial. And I think we need to tell those family stories from time to time so that our children understand where we are coming from. And this is really missing in our world today. And this is why you can see in an environment like us, one man can steal everything that belongs to everybody. Because the feeling of belongingness is not there anymore. I remember growing up as a child, even going to help build houses for senior uncles. And all the women in the villages, they are all involved. Some are cooking, some are fetching water. Just mud house. And we do all these things together. And this bonding, this help is something that we must encourage, a spirit of volunteerism. And if we can do that, we will see a society that is bonded, where people have the love of their fellow in their heart. And then, of course, we will not think evil against one another.
So how do we rebuild this culture of togetherness? Because Christmas seems to offer the opportunity for people to return home, connect again with loved ones, and come together. But the way life is now, the civilization and different kinds of work has made people move from one place to the other. Is there a way to bring back this culture? Some persons can afford to travel to families because of the cost or maybe time constraint. How do we go about it?
Yeah, but like I said, there's all planning we can do. We always can plan. See how much, we say in the prayer of Jabez, Lord, enlarge my territory. As your territory is increasing and enlarging, then you will be able to actually sponsor some of these things. But right now, they're actually luxury.
Some persons have been so used to the nuclear way of living, just day by the family, is there a way to correct that kind of
Yeah, but I think it's something that is worth correcting. Because sometimes when I see today the level of sibling rivalries, it frightens. Really frightens. Where you see brothers killing brothers. Because that connectedness is not there. They don't see themselves as one. And you are even seeing today, we are sitting down on a table and we can't even smile at each other. You see that somebody is doing telephone here, the other person is doing telephone, the other person is doing telephone. I watched a skit some months back where I saw one woman, I think it was an Indian woman, who was serving the family on their dining table, telephone, charger, and power bank, since that's all they do. You know, and the man was really surprised. I said, we were waiting for food. But you see, this is what we do, really. We are isolating ourselves. And we are distancing from each other. And therefore, we are not able to bear the burden of one another. And of course, you know, superstition has not even helped us as Africans, where, of course, the belief in witchcraft has also made it very difficult for some people to return back home. And this is quite massive. Because again, Christianity is also not spared in this direction. We are having a brand of Christianity in Nigeria today that all the prophecy can see is who is your enemy, who is killing you, who is not killing you, what they did in your village, they call it a foundation, and all manners of things. and forgetting the lines of scriptures that tells us that we are very powerful people as God's children, that we are light bearers, and that darkness cannot overcome light. And this sermon is so preached ferociously that fear is ingrained even into the heart of somebody who thought he's born again. I used to know when I was courting my wife, every time we want to travel, he says he's going for deliverance. I say, deliverance from what? Deliverance from what? You want to travel to your village, you are going to church for 7 days of deliverance. What are they delivering you from? Now, this is the misinformation that you find around Christian circle that's actually creating these walls apart. Because people have very wrong impression that this won't kill this person, this won't kill somebody. But scripture tells us our days are numbered by God. Nothing can make us exceed it. If God numbers our days and according to the word of scripture, and we all believe in scripture, so nobody can kill you. So tell you, be careful. Don't eat from here. Don't drink water from here. So this is creating a wall of division. And so this is why you are seeing this civil war that happen within families, because you are even thinking that, oh, your mother is your enemy, your father is your enemy, and then you are having a whole lot of enemy around you, and you cannot think. You that are supposed to be light bearer, you have become darkness yourself. So I think that the religious institution also have a lot to do here to preach the right message. Where the Bible says to us that, for example, you will trample on scorpion and adder, and they will by no means hurt you. You will drink deadly poison. It will not wound you. And this is a message that Jesus brought. That is the reason for this season. That God has empowered us by the sacrificial death of Jesus, that we have overcome the world because Christ has brought us victory. But it's just ironic that so many Christians are living in fear. And because of this fear, they cannot integrate or relate with people of their descent.
All right, Dr. Idauza Samazin, we must appreciate you. It's interesting to know, you know, you're a man of many parts. We're used to having you talk about news analysis, finance, economy, but now family life.
And he talks about scriptures as well.
And even preaching as well. But thank you for your time and your intervention on this topic. I think this is where we have to call it a wrap. Blessing.
Yes, it's been a wonderful one. Talking about different aspects of the Utah Christmas celebration, how you should be prudent with your finances, because you must know that in a matter of days, the festive season would be over, and then the reality of life will kick in, meaning that things you need to settle in January. Even if you don't have any bills to pay, what about doing some investment early in the year so you can also reap early the harvest of those investments? So let's make good use of this season as we connect families and friends to bond. We need those relationships to take us through the next year. I am Blessing AHA. Please go on now and unwrap those boxes, but ensure that you call the person who sent you the box. Do not say, oh, is this what they sent to me? I was expecting something more. But say thank you so you can have something bigger next year. And that's it. Do enjoy your day.
And from me to you, you know, it's a season of celebration, but ensure you celebrate with all sense of responsibility and maturity. I am Femi Ayodele. Bye for now.
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you are on to Souq News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it, because this is Souq News.
Shout out to Souq News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souq News. Here's the Souq News, who had the courage to transcend a locked off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, Souq News. Thank you very much.
It's Christmas.
Christmas.
And lot of activity like jamboree, reunion, and the likes are already on top gear. In all of this, we would like to know what Christmas is to you, so come along as we gather diverse opinion on Christmas.
My name is Ekemezia Nwakonobi. End of the year, holidays. And in some communities, in fact, in most communities, especially in the East, they use the period to organize a whole lot of things. Like, for instance, in my own community, we have Ofala Festival.
My name is Oluwatosin Akinyelure.
Motayo Rachel.
Okay. Christmas is the celebration of Christ, and is always celebrated on the 25th of every year.
My Christmas is the celebration of Christ.
Well, I'm staying indoor. I don't want stress because it's always traffic. On the 25th, it's always rowdy and noisy, so I don't want to. So I would prefer to stay indoor.
I'll be going out with my family.
Queen Darlene.
Rita.
Okay, Christmas for me is one of those seasons that we share love. We tell people about the good news of the birth of Christ. We have fun with family and friends. It's usually more of a retreat for us, family, friends, age grades, get together, do a lot of things, and then we celebrate and thank God for the year that we've already concluded, and then we set up new goals for the next year.
Be with them, have fun. For me, I miss my family.
My name is Kash Ohio Audu. As for me, it's celebration period. You know, it has no religious significance as far as I'm concerned. It was orchestrated and put together by some people, you know, to celebrate a period of time. You know, and then we just come to celebrate it. But for me, that's all that it is. You know, it has nothing to do with maybe the born person, the no born person.
Mrs. Chinelo Ilofulunwa. For me as a Christian, it's a time we can commemorate the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ. So we try to keep our hearts and our environment in order for the celebration.
Just a time to reflect on love and then to celebrate Christ. And a time for family reunion also.
It is what it is. Different stroke for different folks. Having an understanding of what Christmas is to you. I hope you all make the best out of this season. Merry Christmas. Praise Matthias. Souq News.
My name is Olatunji Shoti Miri. I'm a performing artist and, television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Souq News. If you're not watching Souq News, I pity you, but keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timmy Dakolo, and you're watching Souq News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Souq News. Guys, keep watching Souq News for everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news. Souq News is your station.
Yet, as based on my ordination into ministry, I'm actually Ni Obu. I grew up in a very unique polygamous home. My father was a diplomat, but he chose polygamy. And sometimes I asked him why he chose polygamy. He said, oh, they needed a lot of children in my clan. and all that. So I grew up with a fractured home in the sense of what polygamy is from the point of women, but my dad was a unifier. He believed that all of us were equal, male and female. So I think that was my beginning of my own freedom and liberty, that I had a dad who believed in me, believed in us as females. And I remember growing up when we were in school, my uncles would be telling my dad, why are you spending money on the girl child? After all, they're going to get married. And my father replied and said, let them be better wives. You know, in a very diplomatic matter, based on his training. And so I grew up with that level of understanding. Yet I didn't really have confidence because my mom is a Benin princess from the royal house of the Benin Kingdom. And she married my dad, not as the first wife, as one of the wives. I think I'm in the 11th child or something like that. We had more girls than boys and later a lot of boys. And so my mom stayed, but she couldn't cope. She had her own issues. And I grew up with my dad. So I was taken away and I grew up with my dad. So, and I didn't even see my mom till I was about 13 or so. I mean, anybody could have been my mom at that time. I didn't know who. But my dad loved me, though we had issues, rancors within the wives and within the children. And I grew up with a very low self-esteem, having my mom not being there, and I was told I was not beautiful, I was maligned, but I was intelligent. As a girl child, I was highly intelligent, an unusual intelligence at that time. I didn't see it as intelligence. I just thought it was normal. It's as I walked through life that I found out that I was actually quite intelligent, because I was always coming top three. And again, maybe because my mom wasn't around, I needed to prove my point or prove myself. I don't know. But I became a Christian early. I contacted Christianity as a born-again Christian as a teenager. I think for me that became the revolution. God became my revolution, because my dad was there and was not there. Being a diplomat and eventually being an executive in many organizations, chairman of John Holt, and doing a whole lot of things as a leader. Not just leader as a dad. He also had to also take responsibility for his community and his cousins, his relatives. In short, my father was playing God in the lives of many. So he wasn't really available as a dad, but he also did his duty of expressing how much he could express. But as a typical African, I don't think he could express as much as he should, and he should have taken some stance that he shouldn't have allowed the things that were happening within the home. And so I grew up on one side with a low self-esteem. I didn't really understand that it was a low self-esteem, but it was, because as I grew older, I could understand that even when people tell me that I'm beautiful, I am fine, I would look at them and say, this one wants to sleep with me. That's why he's expressing the fact. So, but I focused on my education. I focused on my Christianity. I made my silly mistakes as teenagers, but I was so focused. If there's anything that my life counts for, is that I was a focused child. I was not careless with my life. My siblings could not understand my seriousness. I was a very serious child. I did not, when I make mistakes, I chastise myself. I don't wait for people to chastise me. And I think I grew up with that. So I also had a philosophy of the fact that I didn't want to be dual. What you see is what you get. And I didn't want to be a hypocrite. If anything I hated as growing up as a child were backstabbers, biters, and hypocrites. And I had a lot of that within my family background. As a polygamous home, you expect that. Different wives, different camps, different children, and different ways. Everybody trying to take sides. But because I was the only child of my mom for my dad, I didn't take sides. So I also had that as a philosophy. I never take sides. I must hear from all parties. And people hate me for that, because they expect me to lean towards them because they have told me something about someone. And I said, no, let's call the someone up. And let's settle the matter. We're supposed to be Christians, so let's settle the matter. So people didn't really like coming to me to talk, because they know I won't gossip. I don't slander. I tell you, if I don't have the assurance to tell you up front, I will not say it. If I say it, I will say very subtly, but I cannot boldly just bring someone down. And that's part of my philosophy. I never do it. I confront issues, even now boldly, more boldly, because over the years, as I grew up in Christianity, I started leadership early. By the time I was in secondary school, I was already a leader in fellowship, and also more so I was head girl. Because of that focused girl child and also my intelligence, I was head girl. And double back into university, I joined a fellowship. I was also a leader. So my position in leadership has always been glaring. During my youth service, that's the most funny one. My youth service was in Katsina. The camp was in Katsina, but I served in Jos. And I was the only female platoon leader. I had 33 people under me. So, and I became platoon leader, again, this focused and serious woman and intelligent. So I got to camp on time. I am adverse to lateness to a certain degree. If I'm late, I take responsibility for being late and not to make excuses, because people use traffic to make excuses. Traffic has always been in Lagos. My father taught me that. My father was never late. So I grew up with that, never late. So if I'm late, I take responsibility. And so that focused girl child gave me that position to be the only female platoon leader at that time in 1991. And so I've been comfortable. So you can see people have to take permission from me to go to town. I'm in charge and all that. So I've been thrown into leadership early. And I had a challenge because I grew up now in a polygamous home, and we were in the village often. And my father was so concerned to ensure the cultural context of the hometown. My father is Idoma. My mother is Bini. I'm married to an Ishekiri, whose mother is Isoko. So you can see that I'm a bona fide Nigerian. And also my father raised us up for citizenship. He believed that these were men in the 70s, 60s, and 70s who believed that the identification of a nation, your identity, was important. So nationalism was something that we're used to at home. As we were growing up, we had to read the newspaper every day. We had to listen to the 9 o'clock news. You know, those kind of strict ways of being conscious. Of course, some of my siblings didn't take it serious. But again, this serious girl child, everything her dad told her to do, she took it seriously. And so I grew up with that kind of mindset. But, you know, it was when I looked back, I knew how serious I was. But in the process, I thought it was normal. This is who I am. And so I grew up in that particular kind of background of not my father making us serious, though my father himself was serious. And I think somebody saw me and said, a female child that has her father's mannerism, not necessarily the integrity of the looks. I shared the looks between both of them, but mostly my mom. But in my character, I have a lot of my dad. So that helped me launch into leadership, because I had a question about women leading because of what I saw around me. The docility of womanhood, the oppression of woman, and even the woman permission to be docile and lack of productivity questioned my heart. So as I was growing up, that questioning became the answer to what I do today in women leadership. And I also train for national transformational principles and leadership. Understand that leadership is at the core of all issues of life. If we get the right leader, you get the right solutions. So that has been a summary of my story, that even in my getting married, I was conscious that I knew who I was at that time very clearly. So whoever was going to get married, I could not lose my identity. You know, my journey into ministry and being Reverend Juliet today is a big story. You know, I always tell people the last place I wanted to do was to do ministry. Because as a young girl, I wanted to be a medical doctor to solve women diseases. That was my focus. And so I couldn't get medicine. There was a lot of distraction at the time I was doing JAM. But I did well. At that time, you know, the cutoff points were higher than what it is today. And I ended up with doing zoology. And so I graduated, but while I was in school, like I said, I became more focused again in Christ. I moved from what we call the SU days of no earring, no scarf, no of this, no. And I began to read the Bible for myself and understood that really that extreme is unnecessary. So I found my balance. So even in my church now, I did church outside the campus gate. I didn't do church fellowship. I mean, I didn't do campus fellowship. I did church outside the gate. So I had a church that I was involved with. Again, this serious child, this focused individual, ended up again being a leader. I was welfare leader in one of the churches I was going to, but I ended up in another church because that church had an issue and had to close down because of the pastor who was going back and forth. Another story for another day. But this particular church that I went under the leadership of Reverend Dr. Kanus, Emmanuel Kanus, became the revolution. I have, in all my life, I think God threw me under that man to shape who I am today. Apart from my dad, this particular man has shaped who I am today. And today, of course, Professor Vincent Anigbogu. But this particular man brought me to confront my Christianity with truth. And he kept repeating phrases in the days of Dr. Miles Moron's teachings of when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So we grew up with that thought in the late 80s with such understanding. And so I was, again, focused child, serious person. I took it so seriously. And here I was, I now began to seek the Lord for my purpose, wondering what's the reason for why I'm on earth. I'm a woman, I'm going to get married, I'm going to have children. What is my life? Is that what life is all about? And God began to show me that life is more than that. Life is more than that. And so in 1992, I had a call to ministry to understand that my life is going to be focused on a call. I had a visitation, August 1992, to write down the vision of my life at that time in a summary, based on my understanding. So you can imagine 1992, right now I'm 55. And that was the time I became a deacon also in charge of prayer. My pastor had already trained me. I have never seen such, at that time I almost called it wickedness. For me it was, who sent this man to me? What did I do to him? Why is he picking on me? You know, he will lock me up in a room with a key and tell me to pray all day. And I'm saying, why is it me you're telling to pray? Jack is there, Jill is here, Jonah is there. Why me? But I did not know that that was the best thing of the real me emerging slowly. And so I became a deacon by 92 or so, as the youngest deacon at that time with adults. I remember during the elections, towards the elections of Abiola and co, that the nation was in great contention at that time. My pastor...
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you're on to Souq News.
If you're watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it, because this is Souq News.
Shout out to Souq News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souq News. Here's the Souq News, who had the courage to transcend a locked off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, Souq News. Thank you very much.